Welcome back to The Big Picture. Shea's Buffalo is one of the biggest, oldest, most beautiful theaters in all of Western New York. The shutdown that most of us are going through has kept the curtain from rising at any of Buffalo's great theater venues. But not all is quiet. Shea's is still keeping the word creative in their daily assignment. And now I would like to welcome Celine Cruzan from Shea's Buffalo to talk about the theater community and Shea's and how they're going through this period of chaos, if you will, and uncharted territory that we're all going through. Theater, obviously. Celine, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Phil. Excited to be here.
Theater is obviously based on live, face-to-face contact. That's an experience that you kind of find it hard to replace in the current situation. What is Shea's doing during this time to cope with this situation?
That's a great question. First of all, we miss everyone. We miss being in the beautiful Shea's Buffalo Theater that we get to call home, that grand building that we host productions in, as well as Shea's 710 Theater and Shea's Smith. So we're working really hard to still bring the community together. And however we can do that online, virtually, we're collaborating with theaters, seeing how we can do that. So what we found is our patrons really want to engage with us online. We've been running a lot of different events and activities, such as our Buffalo's Got Talent event, which had hundreds of submissions. So you see, the city of Buffalo wants that entertainment. They want that escape, as well as they want to engage with Shea's.
I'm assuming that nobody at Shea's could have foreseen something like this unfolding. Did this, as with most people in Western New York, I'm sure this caught you guys by surprise just as much as it did everybody, right?
It did catch us very much by surprise, but we're lucky to have such a strong team that has worked to reschedule two of our performances. So the band's visit, which was set to take place in April, has been rescheduled for this December, as well as Anastasia will be coming back this September. So we're working really hard to maintain that event and that season for our patrons and for our season subscribers until we can bring everyone back to the theater again.
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask you is, these things are not scheduled on the spur of the moment. You guys have to plan way ahead of time for your schedule, and I'm assuming that it's really long term because you're putting together a schedule, I'm sure, for next year for all the appearances and the performances and the plays that you have to book. This has got to throw a monkey wrench into the schedule, the season ticket holders, everything. Now you've rearranged for this one performance and maybe the others that you've kind of had to line up. How do you cope with that? What's the deadline for making decisions going forward? Because we don't know when this is going to end. And that puts you in a difficult position, right?
So our leadership is really monitoring this day to day. We're working with all of the tours individually to see how this all works together. But we've been really lucky. We have such a strong season. Like you said, we were able to reschedule those two shows. And we did announce our 2020-21 season, which has amazing productions like Hamilton, Tootsie, To Kill a Mockingbird, Frozen, highlights like that, who are going to be here next season. So we're still working with all of those and moving forward as we go.
And you've made arrangements with season ticket holders or people who've bought tickets for individual performances. I'm sure you've reached out to them and told them exactly how you're handling it?
Exactly. So we're in constant contact with our season ticket holders via email, letter. Our box office is always open and taking calls, as well as through social media. And we've extended that deadline for season ticket holders to renew, as well as just clarified about what they can expect on their account and how all of that will work.
Okay, so now in our new world that we're living in, everything is going, like you just mentioned, on social media and over the internet. And you did kind of refer to it earlier about some of the promotions that you guys have kind of pivoted to just to continue to have activities. Tell me a little bit about some of the things that Shea's is doing now under the circumstances.
So what we wanted to do is highlight our patrons as much as we could. So how do we put the focus on all the talent that we see across the city of good neighbors and this great place that we get to call home? So we ran Buffalo's Got Talent, which had hundreds of submissions. As I said, it was pretty remarkable to see that turnout, from dances to singing, families really getting together and sharing their talents. So that was a great celebration. We've also been having a little bit of fun coming up this week with the draft. We have a post that's going out: what Buffalo sports star would you like to see in a Broadway show? I know I have my personal favorites. I won't reveal those just yet, but we have some really exciting activities, anything we can do to engage, as well as coloring pages. We want to keep families having fun, and people really want that escape and that spark of creativity.
So, what's your favorite defensive lineman that you would like to see in a ballet? I mean, would that be a good?
Exactly, like Josh Allen as Phantom and Phantom of the Opera. That was going to be my submission. I'd love to see it.
Okay, so Buffalo's Got Talent. I'm sure, knowing Buffalo, you've probably got a lot of very interesting reaction to that one.
We definitely did, Bill. It was so much fun. We had people doing a social distance song, which was a great time. Some really unique activities, as well as we had kids singing remarkable numbers from Broadway shows. You would be amazed to see the talent we have in the city, and it was great to be able to celebrate that through social media on our pages.
I want to be where the people are. I want to teach them dancing, walking around on those, what's that word again? Streets. Locked up here, I won't get too far. Masks are required for grocery shopping. Loved ones stay away. How many feet again? Oh, 6.
Into the unknown, into the unknown, into the unknown.
In terms of ramping back up, when this thing is all over again, how difficult is that going to be? Because we really don't know how to, schedule things. I mean, we don't know where this is going to end and how the phases are going to be released in terms of getting back together and the social content. So what challenges does that leave with organizations like the theater?
So we're monitoring things every day. Our staff knows that this is an ever evolving and changing situation, and our patrons, our volunteers, our staff, our artists, that's our main priority: ensuring health and everything is safety there. So we want to do, when we're allowed to reopen, we're going to follow those health guidelines, the government guidelines. But what we'd like to say is this is only intermission. That's been our real mantra. So this is only intermission. We will be back. We will be back on stage. We'll be providing that entertainment in the hub of the theater district. So we can't wait to welcome everybody home.
Yeah, well, the world hasn't come to an end, and Shea's has a tremendous history, and it's one of the most gorgeous places in all of Western New York. It's a tremendous venue. When it comes to the 710, and that's under your purview, how is that being affected as well? It's a whole different kind of schedule, different kinds of things. How is that being affected?
Sure. So our Shea 710 season, that has been announced for next season as well. We're announcing rollout of remounting of the curious incident of the dog in the nighttime. That will be in dry electric season. So that's really exciting. And as you know, Shea 710 has and features local artists in the Buffalo community. We work with a variety of different local theaters that we're lucky to host, having their productions there. Next season, you can see Kinky Boots, a play Slow Food. We have Farinelli and the King with Irish Classical, as well as In the Heights. So the original creators of Hamilton created In the Heights. So we're excited for that season. Things are moving forward as planned, and we're all working together across the theater community to bring that to life.
Now, National Volunteers Week is coming up, and I know a lot of the people who help out at Shea's are volunteers. Do you have anything planned for National Volunteers? Thank a Volunteer Week?
We do. We actually have over 1,000 volunteers at Shea's, which is pretty remarkable and unbelievable. And we're unbelievably grateful for those people who come to Shea's. A lot of the people you see when you come see a show at Shea's are volunteers, are ushers, people handing out programs. They really make this community and this work. So we have a couple things on social media we'll be running that are special, highlighting different stories, people who have worked with us over 20 years that we're really grateful and indebted to. So you'll see that on our Facebook and Instagram pages as well.
Do you, at Shea's, do you reach out to the other theater owners slash managers in Western New York to see how they're coping with this? Is there any kind of an alliance between the theater community in the area?
There is. So our president, Michael G. Murphy, he works with the Theater Alliance of Buffalo, as well as our general manager. So they're in constant communication, as well as we've been all encouraged to do a lot of research nationally as to how the other touring houses, as well as all of the regional theaters, how they're working and handling this. So there's been a lot of communication and a lot of research as to how we all can research and work together.
And each theater has got a different character, different kind of background and history. Shea's is obviously one of the biggest venues in the area with a long history. How do the other theaters cope with this? I mean, are you aware of how it's affecting them? Because I know they're much smaller, relatively speaking, and I'm sure that their budgets are, as nonprofits, they're probably very, very affected by what's going on.
So I know a lot of the local theaters have been doing some really exciting, interesting virtual events. Musical Fair, which works with us at Shea 710 Theater, they have an online cabaret that they're doing this upcoming week. I think it's a $10 admission. People are doing online streaming plays. So we love seeing that, and we're really encouraging, liking, and sharing it as much as we can. And also throughout all of our spaces. So Shea's Performing Arts Center, Shea 710, as well as Shea Smith Theater. So whatever we can do to build up and encourage that community, we're doing.
And I know that a big part of the theater community in Western New York are the corporate sponsors. I don't think we can have such a great experience without all the generous donations from the various corporations in the area. How are the corporate sponsors dealing with this and the relationship with the theater community when everything's come to a standstill in terms of the normal operation? How is that dynamic working now? What are they doing? What are they saying? And how are you guys reaching out to them?
So I can't speak to that specifically. That's John Schaller. That's our development director. I know he's been in constant contact, reworking our plans for Shea's Gala, which will be taking place this October. But we're unbelievably lucky to work with the best companies across Western New York who really support the arts and believe in what we're doing. So we're indebted and eternally grateful for what they do. And I know our team is working with them closely.
So, you know, as I mentioned earlier, there's this uncharted territory, and your community is affected probably more than almost any other community because of the experience is all about personal contact, you know, groups getting together. So in that respect, is this going to put a lot of pressure not only on the other theater owners and managers, but on Shea's in terms of your budget going forward? Is this going to maybe be a challenge for you guys?
I think we're lucky to, we've been around for so long. And as you know, Shea's has come through so much. it's a little bit above my pay grade to speak to that. I know Micah would have some comments to say, but I know we're strong. We have a strong subscription base, and you can look at the online community and see what remarkable support we have. So we can't wait to reopen our doors. We can't wait to be back. And while we know things will change, and we're going to continue to adapt and be a part of that, but we'll be back, and we can't wait to be there.
Okay. Well, we're just about out of time. I have one more question, and then, well, actually two more questions. First question is, given your opportunity now to talk to people who are watching at home, is there anything that you would encourage them to do to be active now under the circumstances with the theater community, with Shea's? Reach out on social media, take part in some of the promotions that you're doing, address what they can do to basically take advantage of the circumstances such as they are.
Sure. So stay creative. We want to keep featuring you. So send us your videos, comment on our post, tell us what you want to see. We're here to service you. We have a great team who's ready to do that. And until the time comes when we can welcome you back, we're going to keep introducing you to shows that are coming, and we're going to keep featuring all of you on our platforms. So thank you for your support. And remember, this is only intermission.
Okay, and my last question, in the Buffalo's Got Talent, what was your most bizarre experience in terms of what you saw in the reactions?
So I have to say, one of my favorite ones, it was a family that was tap dancing outside, all in matching raincoats. I can send you the video. It's the most unbelievable. It's a beautiful video. It's so much fun. There are a lot of great ones. So we definitely, our team really had a couple great laughs and enjoyed watching all of those come in. It was a lot of fun.
Well, I think everybody should go online and see everything that you have to offer on that. It's got to be great entertainment.
It is.
We should be part of that. WBBZ should be part of that. And I've got some ideas. We'll talk after the show.
Bill, we'd love to feature you. So please do.
Okay. Well, I think that's all the time we have for this segment on the big picture. I want to thank Celine Crezan for being my guest on the big picture. I want to thank everyone here for watching the big picture and for watching WBBZ-TV. Thanks so much. This is your TV station, your local station, and we will see you next time on The Big Picture.